reported today that GOP canvassers tried to rescind votes to certify Wayne County election. GOP canvassers tried to rescind votes to certify Wayne County elections, to certify Wayne County election. So this thing is continuing. And then we see that Donald Trump contacted the two Wayne County canvassers that are Republicans, contacted them after they refused to certify the vote at first, and then because of public pressure, they went on and certified the vote. And then they decided to try to rescind the vote. Okay. It was an affidavit that the two of them signed to try to rescind their vote. So we'll talk about that. Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson was on MSNBC today, interviewed by Katie Tur. That was one of the interviews she did, interviewed by Katie Tur. And she talked about this, and she said there's no legal grounds, no legal foundation for this. And I want to get her exact verbiage. She's Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, according to Detroit News Thursday, her said that, she's going to conduct a local performance audit. She'll conduct local performance audits, but she's saying there's no legal grounds. There's no legal mechanism for them to rescind their vote, said Tracy Wimmer, a spokeswoman for Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. Okay, so we're going to talk about that topic. Then we'll give an update on what's going on in Georgia, because in Georgia, they did the hand recount of the votes, and it went for Joe Biden once again. They did a hand recount of the votes in Georgia, and it went for Joe Biden once again, reaffirmed that Joe Biden has won the state of Georgia. We see that their efforts to try to put pressure on members of the state legislatures in Pennsylvania and in Michigan. So we see the story from WXYZ.com had the story today, and some other outlets as well, that Donald Trump is going to welcome the leaders of the Michigan State Legislature to the White House on Friday. Okay. So this plot continues to try to undermine votes here in Wayne County, Michigan, specifically Detroit, but also they're trying to attempt something similar in Pennsylvania. So we'll give you an update on what's taking place there. Then we see with coronavirus, there were almost 200,000 cases of coronavirus today. Almost 200,000 cases. There was, according to the Washington Post, there were 182,000 new cases reported today. Later this evening, NBC News reported 189,000 cases. That's a record number. Whether it's 182 or 189, it's a record number of cases for one day. It's a record number of cases for one day in the U.S. So we'll talk about what's going on with coronavirus, and also the CDC finally came out today with an advisory not to travel during Thanksgiving. Now, I've been telling you this for days. Don't travel during Thanksgiving. It's too dangerous. People are traveling to hot spots like Texas. Texas was one of the first states to reach 1 million cases of coronavirus. Texas is one of the hottest spots in the country for coronavirus. But so the CDC put out a travel advisory today, not to travel during Thanksgiving. Have Thanksgiving with your relatives through Zoom or through Facebook chat or Facebook video or whatever it is. When you are traveling and having people from different households coming over, that is dangerous. CDC warns America, do not travel for Thanksgiving. Now, if you've been watching this show, I've been telling you that for days. Okay, I've been telling you for days that's dangerous. Also, we're entering into flu season. So to me, it's dangerous to travel, period. Because I've traveled on planes numerous times. There's a lot of sick people that travel on planes. And it's not just traveling on the plane, it's going through TSA, it's interacting with people. And then also, it's still dangerous eating at restaurants outside. The reason why it's dangerous, if you've been paying attention to what's going on the past few days and what the experts are saying, is that what the doctors are saying. In a lot of situations, even outside of the state of Michigan, in some situations, you'll have the waiter or the staff or something like that. They could have coronavirus, and you can still be eating outside and still catch it from them. So when you're in a hot spot like Texas, or even Michigan is number 6, I think, was reported today. Michigan is number 6 in coronavirus cases, but that's still dangerous. So when you have a situation like the executive order from Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer to just have carry out only for restaurants, because of the surge in cases in the state of Michigan, that makes sense. Because of the surge in cases in the state of Michigan, that makes sense. But if you're somewhere like Texas, that makes sense also. But you have a Republican governor in Texas. So a lot of the Republican governors have been slow to move. Some of them are moving now because the hospitals are being overran and there's so many deaths taking place. All right. So we'll discuss that also. Then there was I posted an article about it's going to be on Prime Video streaming. It's directed by Regina King. It's a movie directed by Regina King, and it's about a fictitious encounter with Muhammad Ali when he was Cassius Clay, right after he wins the heavyweight championship from Sonny Liston, February 1964. Cassius Clay, Sam Cooke, Jim Brown, and Malcolm X. So we're going to talk about that a little bit also in the last part of the show. All right. Calling numbers 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the calling number if you have a question or comment. We're broadcasting on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, and my YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP, on YouTube also. So everybody share this broadcast on your social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in as well. Now, on the African History Network show, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's corrects wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you've been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. So when you control the radius of a man's thoughts, you can control the circumference of his actions, because his mind can't do or teach what it doesn't know. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here. On the African History Network show, we deal with current events in history and politics, education, economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, relationships, love, sex, health issues, and much, much more. Sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, K-E-M-E-T, the 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, K-E-M-E-T, to 22828. to sign up for our email newsletter. Also, you can visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can sign up for it there as well, right on the homepage. You can donate to the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, then also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show, paypal.me/the AHN Show. Okay. All right. Calling number is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the calling number if you have a question or comment. Now we know that, so we know on Wednesday, November 18th, there was a press conference that was held. Reverend Wendell Anthony and Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan. We played an excerpt of that yesterday. There's another excerpt I want to play today. And Reverend Wendell Anthony, president of the Detroit chapter of the NAACP, talked about why so many African Americans are Democrats, or at least vote for Democrats. They may not be members of the Democratic Party, but they at least vote for Democrats. And he pointed to policies, and he pointed to the shenanigans, the skullduggery, the underhandedness of oftentimes Republicans to invalidate or suppress the votes of African Americans. Okay. So he went there with it. He took it there. All right. So we'll deal with that on the other side of the break also. And okay, 2 minutes before the break, or 1 minute. All right. So if we look at this here, Detroit News reported Thursday, November 19th, 2020, GOP canvassers tried to rescind votes to certify Wayne County election. GOP canvassers tried to rescind votes to certify Wayne County election. Now, two Republican Wayne County canvassers, okay, Monica Palmer and William Hartman, also known as Bill Hartman, have signed affidavits saying they regret their votes Tuesday to certify the November 3rd election, arguing that, quote, intense bullying and coercion, end quote, put bad legal advice, plus bad legal advice, forced them to agree to certify the election after they had voted no. Now, canvassers Monica Palmer and William Hartman have claimed that promises made to them of a quote unquote comprehensive audit of the November 3rd election, should they certify, quote, will not be fulfilled, end quote, will not be fulfilled. Now, Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson for the state of Michigan announced Thursday that her office will conduct some local performance audits, but did not say in which jurisdictions. Okay. Now, a spokesperson for Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson said there is no legal mechanism for them to rescind their vote. We're going to continue this on the other side of the break. You listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation Future Radio. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stand by, everybody. I need to reconnect to the radio station. How's everybody doing? Share this broadcast on your social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in, okay? Everybody stand by. How's everybody doing today? Follow us on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, and my YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep. We'll be back from commercial break here in just a minute. I need to reconnect to the radio station. All right. Stand by, everybody. I got to reconnect to the station. Hey, it's Michael Imhotep calling back. All right, how much time before we come back? All right, thanks. All right, I'll be right back. Stand by. Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation, the Future Radio. Hey, I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Thursday, November 19th, 2020, and we are live. The calling number is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the calling number if you have a question or comment. Okay, 313-778-7600. All right, so right before the break, I was giving you an update on what's taking place here with the Wayne County Board of Canvassers. And this has made national news. Monica Palmer and William Hartman and them wanted to rescind their votes to certify ballots and certify votes in Wayne County. Wayne County is the county that Detroit, Michigan is in. All right. So we talked about this on our show Tuesday night and Wednesday night. And then yesterday we talked about the article from the Detroit Free Press. Detroit mayor blasts Trump attacks, says voting count was 99.9% accurate. Says voting count was 99.9% accurate. So canvassers Monica Palmer and William Hartman have claimed the promises made to them of a comprehensive audit on the November 3rd election, should they certify, will not be fulfilled. Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson announced Thursday her office will conduct some local performance audits, but did not say in which jurisdictions. Now, Monica Palmer, one of the Wayne County Board of Canvassers, who's a Republican, said, quote, "I rescind my prior vote to certify Wayne County elections." Palmer said in an affidavit signed Wednesday night. She said, quote, "I fully believe the Wayne County vote should not be certified," end quote. Now, it's not clear whether the affidavits have any legal effect on Tuesday's certification. Now, according to Jonathan Kinlock, who's also a member of the Wayne County Board of Canvassers, he's a Democrat. He said, no, they don't. Secretary Jocelyn Benson said there's no legal mechanism for them to rescind their vote. Now, so even if Palmer and Hartman were able to rescind their votes, the deadline for Wayne County to certify its results has already passed. In which case any uncertified results would pass on to the State Board of Canvassers. Now, state law sets a deadline of 14 days. State law sets a deadline of 14 days for every count to be certified, or for every county to certify its election votes. And Wayne County's 14-day clock expired on Wednesday, November 18th, 2020. So the time span has already expired. You know, I'm going to go to this. Secretary Jocelyn Benson was interviewed on MSNBC today. I'm going to go to that clip in just a minute. So cue that clip up, Shakita. But I just have to wonder, what would happen if black people tried to do this to white people's votes? What would happen if, say, for instance, in 2012 presidential election, say there was a discrepancy in votes, and President Barack Obama was putting pressure on members of state legislatures to get them to send their own electors to show up when the Electoral College votes. And what if President Barack Obama was contacting members of the board of the county board of canvassers, trying to get them to invalidate votes, or encouraging them to validate votes, or trying to discredit the election, things like this, and has his attorney go out with a bunch of conspiracy theories and hair dye running down the side of his face, and people just out lying on behalf of him? What do you think would happen if President Barack Obama tried to do this stuff? Say like in 2012 when he ran against Mitt Romney. Or what do you think would happen if President Barack Obama tried to do this in 2016 to help Hillary Clinton win the popular vote? Oh, I'm sorry. Hillary Clinton didn't win the popular vote. She didn't win in the Electoral College. But here, Joe Biden has 306 Electoral College votes. Now, the Electoral College doesn't vote till December 14th officially, but he's president-elect. But he has 306 Electoral College votes, which is the same number that Donald Trump had in 2016. But Joe Biden is beating Trump by, I think now it's about 6 million popular votes. So what do you think would happen? What do you think would happen if President Barack Obama tried to do something like this and try to invalidate white people's votes? Oh, and you know, in cities that have predominantly white population. I'm just curious. I mean, just the some of these people have no shame. You know, this is straight up, you know, skullduggery. This is straight up thievery. So I want to go to this clip here. This is from Katie Tur interviewed our own Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson today. NBC News learned today that Donald Trump himself called the two Republicans who initially refused to certify Joe Biden's win in Wayne County, Michigan. Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson joins Katie Tur to discuss. Let's go to this clip.
Involved in the vote count in Michigan. NBC News learned today that the president himself called the two Republicans who initially refused to certify Joe Biden's win in Wayne County. My colleague Peter Alexander spoke to one of them, Monica Palmer, the Republican chairperson of the Wayne County Board of Canvassers. She told NBC News the president called her to, quote, make sure I was okay, that I was safe, and to check on me. After the calls, and after she and her fellow Republican board member voted to certify the popular vote in that county, they both reversed themselves again. They both signed affidavits saying they now believe the vote should not be certified. Joining us now is Jocelyn Benson, Michigan Democratic Secretary of State. Madam Secretary, thank you for being here. If they decide they want to reverse themselves and they've signed these affidavits to do that, what happens?
Well, notably, there are a lot of protocols in place under which the canvass and the county board meets. It has to be an open meeting. There has to be a vote taken. There has to be an adjournment. All of those things lead into an official certification, and all of those things have happened here. So there's really no legal avenue for any type of overturning of that. That doesn't mean, again, this has been par for the course. We won't see a PR strategy to try to, again, sow seeds of doubt and create confusion about the process. But the law is actually quite clear on this. Every county in Michigan has certified the results following a post-election canvass. That certification is now then given to the State Board of Canvassers. They're scheduled to meet on Monday to, again, formally certify the statewide electors and then move forward from there.
What do you think the president is trying to do by calling these two board members? We're also just learning, and this is from NBC News reporting, along with the New York Times reporting this, that he's invited Michigan lawmakers to the White House. It's unclear exactly why he's inviting Republican Michigan lawmakers to the White House, but I do know that the Republican Senate Majority Leader in your state had already told Bridge, Michigan, and a newspaper, a local paper, that they can't overturn, or they can't use the electors to try and overturn the popular vote. The popular vote is the popular vote.
The law is quite clear in Michigan. The popular vote is the determining factor in how the electors are awarded under the Electoral College provisions. In addition to that, importantly, the procedures and the actual election itself, which has occurred, the people have voted, have been really held up under extraordinary scrutiny to confirm that there is no evidence of irregularities or fraud or any other reason to have concern. There have been no concrete allegations made in that regard, and certainly if they were, the Attorney General would investigate them as has happened continuously whenever there are sporadic instances like that. So I think it's also important to just focus on the facts and the data and the truth, which is we've had an election, every county certified the election. We're now moving with that canvas, and it would be improper for any candidate involved in that election to try to interfere with the process or obstruct it.
So they might not be able to do this, but what is it doing to the confidence in the election system in your state, across the country? I know that there are millions of voters out there who voted for Donald Trump, and there's at least a portion of them who only believe what Donald Trump says, and he's refusing to acknowledge that he's lost. He's claiming it was all rigged when it was not.
And that therein really lies what's at the heart of this matter. This is, a continual attempt to confuse the public and sow seeds of doubt amongst the electorate about what is actually a very secure, objectively and data-driven, secure election that had extraordinarily high turnout, with a great success, frankly, in our state and throughout the country to have a high turnout election in the midst of a pandemic. And yet that success is being obscured by this ongoing effort to erode the public's confidence, wrongly so, in, again, what was a very accurate election, certainly in Michigan. And so that's really, I think, this is a moment, we'll get through this moment, but moving forward, we do have to address how to come together as a country to ensure that people can restore their faith. That, and rightfully so, no matter how someone voted or who they voted for, they have every reason to have confidence in the results of the election as an accurate reflection of the will of the people.
And then just your comment on the firing of Chris Krebs. I know he worked closely as part of CISA with, secretaries of state just like you on elections.
Truly. I mean, Chris was a really exemplary public servant, well respected by individuals on both sides of the aisle. And indeed, part of the reason why we did have such a secure, smooth election this cycle was in no small part due to his leadership and the team at CISA, who worked with us directly throughout the past year at the state and local level to help address any issues, emerging threats, and really build that confidence that the public rightly should now have in the secure election. So we wish him well, and I certainly expect that he'll continue to be involved in the work that really drives all of us forward, which is protecting our democracy, ensuring our elections are secure, and ensuring that, again, the American people can have faith in the results.
All right.
Dr. Besser, thank you very much for joining us today. Where are we?
Okay. So that was from Thursday, November 18th, 2020. That was from today, MSNBC. Katie Tur interviewed Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. Name of that clip, you can go watch it on msnbc.com. Michigan SOS, no legal mechanism for Michigan Republicans to rescind their certification of votes. No legal mechanism for Michigan Republicans to rescind their certification of votes. Now, WXYZ Channel 7 here in Detroit today, WXYZ.com, as well as Washington Post, both reported. We posted the article from WXYZ Channel 7. And, we support our local news outlets, WXYZ Channel 7, Detroit News, Detroit Free Press, things like this. You have to support your local news media as well. But, I also read national news media also. So local news media and Washington Post carried this story today. Which one is that? Hold on. I got a bunch of tabs open here. Hold on. This was dealing with Donald Trump, and we'll go to the phone lines in a minute here. It's dealing with Donald Trump inviting the heads of the Trump invites Michigan Republican leaders to meet him at White House as he escalates attempts to overturn election results. Trump invites Michigan Republican leaders to meet him at White House as he escalates attempts to overturn election results. So Donald Trump has invited the leaders of Michigan's Republican-controlled state legislature to meet him in Washington on Friday, November 20th, according to a person familiar with those plans, as Trump and his allies continue an extraordinary campaign to overturn the results of an election he lost. Trump's campaign has suffered defeats in courtrooms, and they suffer some courtroom losses today, actually, suffered defeats in courtrooms across the country in efforts to allege irregularities with the ballot counting process, and has failed to muster any evidence of widespread fraud that Donald Trump continues to claim tainted the 2020 election. They're just lying. This is what it is. They're just lying. Trump lost Michigan by a wide margin. At present, he trails President-elect Joe Biden in that state by 157,000 votes. That's 157,000 votes he trails Joe Biden by. Now, early this week, the state's Republican Senate Majority Leader said an effort to have legislators throw out election results was, quote, not going to happen. But Donald Trump now appears to be using the full weight of his office to challenge the election results, as he and his allies reach out personally to state and local officials in an intensifying effort to halt the certification of the vote in key battleground states. Okay, so now some people are saying, well, wait a second, this sounds like you're interfering with election results, which is illegal. Sounds like he's interfering with election results, which is illegal. Okay. Very quickly, let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Delmar, line 1. Delmar, welcome to the African History Network show. Thanks for holding. Tell us where you're calling from.
Hamtramck, you're doing a wonderful job.
Hamtramck. Okay, thanks. Go ahead. Yep.
Certification, delay tactics.
Mm-hmm.
Give me all my lawyers. Do what you can do. Stall everything. You know, he's full of a shawl. Am I right, Hotel?
Well, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to stall the certification. They're trying to stall the certification, right? And then say it again.
It's like a timely process, right? Let me delay that more time on the side. The way you delay the delay tactics.
Yes, it's a delay tactic to try to put more pressure on the state legislatures, and hopefully try to pressure state legislatures to send Republican electors on the day that the Electoral College votes, which is December 14th. Okay. And then to try to cause confusion. So then it has to be taken up by the U.S. It's to try to cause so much confusion that this has to be rectified in the U.S. House of Representatives. That's what he's trying to do. Now, I don't think that's going to work, but that's what they're trying. That's their last hope, because all these court cases have been thrown out of court. That's their last hope.
Okay. Now that Atlanta situation, is that a done deal? Is that an open check case?
Well, Atlanta, in Georgia, they certify the votes tomorrow. In Georgia, I was going to talk about that. In Georgia, they finished the hand recount today. Secretary of State of Georgia stated that they finished the hand recount today. Donald Trump picked up a few hundred votes, but Joe Biden still wins by 12,800 votes. So they're going to certify the results on Friday.
Okay.
In the state of Georgia.
I voted for Biden. Okay. If Donald Trump was to call me tomorrow and say, "Hey, how you doing? Let's go to breakfast. Can I rescind my vote Saturday?"
Can you repeat that question?
I voted for Biden. But if Donald Trump was to call me tomorrow and say, hey, buddy, how about let's go to breakfast?
No, the election's over. You can't rescind the vote. No, election's over. All right. Yeah. Okay, Delmar. I gotta get to this. I only got a few minutes left in the show. I gotta get to these other topics. Okay, thanks for calling. All right, I want to go to this clip here. On Roland Martin Unfiltered, Roland Martin interviewed Jonathan Kinloch. So Roland talked about this today. He talked about it yesterday as well. And he interviewed Jonathan Kinloch. Now, Jonathan Kinloch is one of the Wayne County Board of Canvassers. He's a Democrat, okay? And he was explaining some of what was taking place here, all right? Let's go to this clip. I think we have it coming up. You got the
rescind it because we don't think the audit is going to be done. That actually makes no sense. So right now, Jonathan Kinloch, he is vice chair of the Wayne County Board of Canvassers, for an update on this one. Wayne, first of all, Jonathan, this is really stuck on stupid. I mean, this whole deal of, we got doxxed and we were harassed. Wasn't that a public hearing? Which means that a public hearing means you hear from the public.
That's the absolute correct characterization of where we were in the agenda. We were receiving public comment, and this came after. We're talking about after Monica Palmer had was pretty much asked if we would consider a motion to certify the election and not include the city of Detroit vote. So when we went to public comment, folks were outraged.
And again, hold on. Let's start right there. She had no problem certifying all results in Wayne County except Detroit.
That's correct.
Except
Detroit.
Go ahead.
Except Detroit. And you have to realize that, just understand the backdrop of this. You had every day since the election, the Trump campaign has been filing lawsuits. And in those lawsuits, they have been targeting the voters in Detroit, period. And then for her to be an officer in this on the board to have asked, it wasn't something that is normally done. She asked for us to consider, as if we would consider certifying without Detroit, in which I was outraged, and it was unacceptable for her, and it was totally disrespectful for her to even let that roll off of her tongue. So when the folks began to lash into her and lash into Hartman, it was from the point of the motion to certify not being able to be passed, because they claim all of these issues occurred that warrant them not doing, which is what is a ministerial duty of this canvasser. So that's something that we normally do. We get reports from our staff stating that these communities are imbalanced, out of balance, but you're not supposed to let that call for you not to certify, not to move forward the election results, to move forward to be fully certified by the State Board of Canvassers. So now she's talking about, look, she wants to, she and Hartman are saying they want to rescind their vote. They can't do that. Let me say something, Roland. After we voted to certify the election, as we included to a request to ask the Secretary of State to perform an audit, we also have voted to waive any reconsideration. So all of this jogging and all of this stuff here is just only to appease the Trump campaign. That's all what this is about. Because as soon as we voted, as soon as the vote failed to certify the election, the Republican Party and Donald Trump immediately, I think they said within minutes, had posted on social media congratulating them and thanking them for not certifying black votes
Now Donald Trump is calling Michigan Republican leaders to the White House, and they're going to go tomorrow because he wants them to basically ignore the will of the voters, forget the fact that Joe Biden won Michigan, and he wants them to seat Republican electors for him. Jonathan there?
Okay. Pause it right there. Chiquita. Okay. Yeah. Ken Lock's signal dropped out. He came back in later. Watch that on Roland's Facebook page and on YouTube. That is from the November 19th, 2020 edition of Roland Martin Unfiltered. Okay. And we're running out of time here. We're going to continue this discussion on my social media platforms, The African History Network on Facebook and Michael Imhotep on YouTube. I'll play the rest of that interview on my social media platforms. I'll be on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Friday. I'm a panelist on Friday. I'll be on there and we'll share excerpts of it. On my show Friday night. You know, we're here Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time. So we'll share excerpts of what went down on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Friday edition. We'll share that on my show Friday night and then also on my show Sunday night because we're here Sundays 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I ain't going to hold back tomorrow because this is some fraggle bull, quoting my main man, Michael Baisden, who's also here on 910 AM Superstation at 1 a.m. Okay, this is some fraggle bull right here. This is equivalent. This is like the coup d'etat that happened November 10th, 1898, the Wilmington Massacre, except they're not using guns. They're using their political power, okay, to overthrow the will of African Americans. Okay, this is what this is like. Okay, but once again, they ain't gonna get away with that. They're not gonna get away with this. All right, I want to go to this other clip here before we run out of time here on 910 AM Superstation. On yesterday's show, I shared excerpts of the press conference that Reverend Wendell Anthony, president of the Detroit chapter of the NAACP, and Mayor Mike Duggan had, mayor of Detroit. And they were breaking down what was happening with the Wayne County Board of Canvassers. And at first, them refusing to certify the votes, but then going ahead and certifying the votes. Okay, they were breaking down what happened, but later in that same press conference, Reverend Wendell Anthony answered a question from the media, one of the reporters there, and he started explaining why the majority of African Americans vote for Democrats as opposed to Republicans. Here's what he said. Okay, this clip is coming up right now. He starts talking about policy. Okay. Go ahead.
That it is not a party of inclusion, but of exclusion. The proof is in the pudding. You know, let me just say this, because a lot of people often talk about the fact that, you know, black people are democratic and Democrats take them for granted and the Republicans don't take them for all at all. It is about policy. It's about policy. We look for those in the Republican Party to come up with policy that reflects who we are. What's your policy on health care? What's your policy on simply wearing a mask? What's your policy on income equity? What's your policy on education?
Okay, we're gonna pause. We're gonna pause it right there. For some reason, they're telling me it's not playing on 910 AM Superstation. We had to figure that out. Figure out why. Usually, they used to. I forget. It was 2 buttons they had to hit at the same time to do that. I forgot what it was. When I was in the studio, they had to figure it out. Let me see. Hold on. We're doing this through Skype. We got to figure this out. I'll play that clip on my social media platforms also. So everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube on my platforms, keep watching, because we're going to continue after this show's over with on 9:10 AM Superstation. Federal judge rejects bid to halt the certification of ballots in Georgia. Another one bites the dust for Donald Trump team. Very quickly here, looking at coronavirus. CDC warns Americans against traveling this Thanksgiving. Now, I've been saying this for days. CDC warns Americans against traveling for Thanksgiving. With the coronavirus surging out of control across the country, the CDC today urged Americans not to travel for Thanksgiving next week. The CDC is recommending against traveling during the Thanksgiving period, said Dr. Henry Walke, CDC's COVID-19 incident manager. For Americans who decide to travel, CDC recommends doing so as safely as possible by following the same recommendations for everyday living. Now, these recommendations come after the U.S. surpassed 250,000 coronavirus deaths. The nation also reported, on Wednesday, it's 164,000 new cases on Wednesday. But on Thursday, you're looking at 182,000 new cases on Thursday. And this was like Thursday evening. Thursday night on MSNBC, they said it was 189,000 cases reported on Thursday, which is an all-time high, whether it's 182,000 or 189,000. It's an all-time high. This was more than 170,000 new cases that were reported on Wednesday. Somewhere between 164,000, 170,000 reported on Wednesday. It depends upon what time of the day. Usually in the evening or night, you're going to get different numbers that were reported for that same day than earlier in the day. All right. Now, a high in current COVID-19 hospitalizations also at 81,000 people hospitalized with COVID-19 threatened again to push the healthcare system to the brink in several states as state public health officials worried about reaching ICU bed capacity. Thursday, November 19th, was the 9th day in a row that hospitalization numbers have set records. Thursday was the 9th day in a row that hospitalization numbers have set records. From coast to coast, stricter measures have been put in place in an effort to control the rate of infection. Officials in New York City announced that schools would close temporarily to in-person instruction beginning on Thursday. In California, a curfew will require more residents to stay home between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. The new restriction goes into effect on Saturday and lasts through December 21st. Now this, okay. So, and let me see if I could flip over here to I want to look at these updates here, see if I can see them. Where is this? All right. So we'll give you some more updates on what's going on with coronavirus. But if you're traveling for the holidays, like I said before, especially for Thanksgiving, I mean, look, this is serious. Okay. And this is going to blow up. After Thanksgiving, this is going to blow up. It's going to be even worse than it is now. Okay. Because people are not going to pay attention. People are just going to go over people's houses, and it's going to be even worse. Okay. So we have to protect ourselves. I wear a mask everywhere I go. People that see me out, they know I'm masked up like I'm one of the Avengers or something. Seriously. Everywhere I go, I have a mask on. Okay. Hey, if you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App. Then also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show, paypal.me/the AHN Show. And then at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We're here Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time. And then also Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're here on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation, WFDF. And then we also broadcast on our social media platforms. And you can listen to us on iHeartRadio. Download the 9:10 a.m. Download the iHeartRadio app and search for 9:10 a.m. WFDF in Detroit. And then also for the African History Network show, we have a page on iHeartRadio. So they have like 300 episodes of my show there, podcasted at iHeartRadio as well. You can listen to the iHeartRadio app. And we're on iTunes, Castbox, Acast. I'm on 9 different audio podcast platforms. All right. So look, hey, we have to get out of here. We're going to continue this discussion on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, and my YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on empowering and educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world. Because right now, it's corrects wrong behaviors. Not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Peace. All right, stand by, everybody. Stand by. Okay, African American business owners, email us at customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. Customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. Email us at customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. How's everybody doing? Well, the show's over with on 9:10 a.m. That's where you call into. We're only there for an hour. Sunday nights, we're on 2 hours, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, let's continue here. I want to go to I want to go back to this clip here. This is from the press conference that Reverend Wendell Anthony held with Mayor Mike Duggan. And Reverend Wendell Anthony broke down. He's president of the Detroit chapter of the NAACP. And then also Wednesday on Roland Martin Unfiltered, Wednesday, November 18th, he was on Roland Martin Unfiltered as well. But he's explaining why the majority of African Americans, especially those with some sense, vote for Democrats. Doesn't mean we're in love with Democrats, but it's about policies. And he lays this out. Okay, I want to go to this clip here. Now, the question I have to ask is, all these Black Republicans, the Candace Owens, the all these people, Bruce LaVale, Katrina Pearson, who tweeted about Ice Cube allegedly working with the Trump campaign, Paris Denard, who works with the Trump campaign, all these Black conservatives. Where's Kanye? Where's Kanye West? All these Black conservatives who have been saying African Americans need to vote for Republicans and support Trump, and Trump's so good for African Americans. Are they speaking out and denouncing what Republicans are trying to do to the African American vote and invalidate the African American vote, or are they sitting somewhere silent? Where's Diamond and Silk? Where's Diamond and Silk right now? Okay. What all these Black Republicans that are putting out YouTube videos and all this stuff, talking about Democrats, this, Democrats, that? Are you denouncing what Republicans are doing or trying to do with the African American vote and invalidate the African American vote? Or are you afraid if you speak out, the checks will stop coming? Pastor Daryl Scott, all these Black Republicans that are around Trump, that they talk about how great he is. Why are you so silent? So let's go. But how's everybody doing? Okay, so let's go back to this clip here.
And Democrats take them for granted, and the Republicans don't take them for at all. It is about policy. It's about policy. We look for those in the Republican Party to come up with policy that reflects who we are. What's your policy on health care? What's your policy on simply wearing a mask? What's your policy on income equity? What's your policy on education? What's your policy on police reform? What's your policy? If you got the policy, then we can find the practice of voting for folk who support policy. But when you look at the Republicans and their policies, I'm not talking about their personalities, I'm talking about their policies. They don't match up with the interests of the African American community. Years ago, they talked about doing an autopsy. Well, they must have failed with the autopsy. The body is still dead because there's no life as relates to bringing in African American folk or minorities. Why would you join something that considers African nations as whole countries, Black athletes as SOBs, Black women as unintelligent and not prepared and less than? The first African American woman to be vice president-elect, you can't even acknowledge that. I mean, why would we join that? Why would we support the fact that you can't even call or say that Black lives matter? You can't even say that. And so it's about policy. So this certainly does not help the party of Lincoln. If you're the party of Lincoln, then act like it. If you want to claim that Lincoln freed the slaves, which he did not do, not to help a Black folk, i.e. Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman and so many others, if you are that party, then act like it. Open up. Access. Don't reduce the vote, increase it. The bottom line is when they decrease the vote and suppress it, they decrease and suppress themselves. Republicans traditionally have voted more by absentee than Democrats have. And so you're cutting your nose off to spite your face. So it does not help, it hurts.
Okay, so that was, we'll post the full link here. It's already on our Facebook page, The African History Network, but we'll post it again. So you can check that out. That is from December 18th. That's courtesy of WXYZ Channel 7 here in Detroit. That's from December 18th, 2020. Okay. So check that out. Also, that Duggan NAACP on certification of election results. That's the name of that. That's at WXYZ.com. And I'm going to post this link here so you can watch that press conference in its entirety. We already posted it on our fan page, African History Network. Okay. All right, let's continue here. Everybody share this broadcast on your social media platforms. All right. So let me see. Okay, we were talking about coronavirus, giving you an update on what's going on with that. I'm going to go back to Roland Martin Unfiltered, the second part of the interview with Jonathan Kinlock, who is one of the Democrats, one of the two Democrats on the Wayne County Board of Canvassers. So you can hear from him, hear the rest of that interview. I just want to look at the updates here on coronavirus, make sure I just give you everything that's pertinent. Okay, so we're dealing with a record number of people hospitalized, somewhere between 80,000 and 81,000 people who are hospitalized right now. Third COVID vaccine shows promising results for those who want to take a vaccine. The experimental coronavirus vaccine being developed by the University of Oxford and AstraZeneca is safe and has shown a strong response in older adults, according to the response of a phase 2 trial. The study found the vaccine produced a similar immune response among people over age 56 as it did with participants ages 18 to 55. You can check out the updates at NBCnews.com, and then also look at the coronavirus section they have, and then look at the updates from Washington Post and New York Times. I'm just giving you the highlights here. So just a second. Now, some people don't want to take the vaccine for various reasons. Does not necessarily mean they are anti-vaxxers. Some people just don't take vaccines, but if their doctor recommends it for them, they may take it. So it's going to be a monumental task to produce, even if it's just say 100 million. You got to produce 100 million vials, syringes, plus the vaccine, cotton swabs. You have to get this to the proper locations. Some of these vaccines need to be they need to be transported in sub-zero temperatures. So it is it's going to be a monumental task, regardless of what happens, regardless of whether people take vaccines or what have you. It's going to be a monumental task. All right. Okay, let's go back to this one here. And then we talked about Georgia. Oh, very quickly, we'll look at the update in Georgia. Hand recount confirms Biden's lead in Georgia, according to Secretary of State. I posted an article also from Washington Post about this as well. After a hand recount of roughly 5 million votes cast in the presidential election, Georgia election officials confirmed Joe Biden received more votes than Donald Trump in the state. Georgia's Secretary of State ordered the recount as a part of the risk limiting audit process to ensure the public's trust in the outcome of the presidential vote in the state, where Joe Biden led by 12,284 votes, according to the audited results. That resulted in a 0.0099% variation from the original margin, they said. The Secretary of State is set to certify the results Friday. Trump may request a machine recount of the audited ballots by as late as next Tuesday evening. So Joe Biden is going to win. Georgia. And in Michigan, Washington Post has the updates here for dealing with the presidential election and the aftermath. And they name members of the 4-member Michigan Canvassing Board, Norman Schilke. Yeah. They talk about what's going on with our state legislature also. Michigan GOP official leaning toward seeking to delay certification of vote. One of the 2 Republican members of the 4-member Michigan Canvassing Board for the state of Michigan, Norman Schinkel, said Thursday that he is leaning toward asking for a delay in the certification vote and calling for an audit. The board is scheduled to vote on Monday, this coming Monday. Okay. And he's talking about these conspiracy theories and debunking conspiracy theories. Doing an audit of the votes to make sure the conspiracy theories are not true. Among his concerns, the debunked claim by Trump allies, including attorney Sidney Powell, this crazy white woman, Sidney Powell, that Dominion Voting Systems, the Colorado-based manufacturer of voting machines, deleted thousands of Trump votes. There's absolutely no evidence to substantiate this. Quote, if Dominion was fudging votes, that's a serious problem, he said. If it's true, I don't know. I have to be convinced of it. That's why the audit makes sense. Well, they have no evidence of these allegations regarding the Dominion voting systems. There's no evidence to substantiate that. Just more nonsense. Okay. All right. I want to go to this clip here. It's from Roland Martin Unfiltered from today. Let's find this one. Where is that? I just had it. Okay. So this was the second part of the interview with Jonathan Kinlock, who's on the Wayne County Board of Canvassers. Wayne County is the county that Detroit is in, okay? And right at the beginning of this excerpt, you're going to hear Dr. Greg Carr, and then they bring Jonathan Kinlock back on to to continue talking about what happened.
That's it. We have Jonathan back. Jonathan, Trump has actually called the Republican leaders in the legislative body to DC tomorrow for a meeting. I mean, this is a person, a candidate who is actually trying to interfere with the election process.
And we are at a place right now in Michigan history and in the United States history where, you know, you have a president and a Republican Party who are making allegations as it relates to corruption. But what they're trying to do is corrupt the process. It is absolutely inappropriate for the president, the Republican Party, or any of these individuals to invite the leaders in the House for the purpose of rigging or to interfere with this election. Let me just tell you something that they're not taking into account. Where they could not get a writ at the county level, they can absolutely go into the courts on Monday and get a judge to order the State Board of Canvassers to certify the election. It is not a discretionary power that is placed upon the County Board of Canvassers or the State Board of Canvassers. So at the end of the day, I think the gamemanship is going to fall flat on its face. This is just, we're at a very, very uncharted point in history. And unfortunately, Donald Trump finds himself on the wrong side of history.
And the thing here, Jonathan, the Wayne County Board has voted. What the hell is the process to go, oh, no, I know we voted, but now we rescind?
There is no rescinding. After 14 days, the purview of any sort of consideration as it relates to the general election is over, as it relates to all county board of canvassers. All 83 counties across the state lose the opportunity to weigh in after the 14 days. It is now 100% in the purview of the state board of canvassers, which will meet on Monday, period. So there is no rescinding, and they know this. I mean, all of this is just ridiculous to even be stating and putting out there in the public.
That's absolutely crazy. Jonathan Kinlock, man, we certainly appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. We'll keep watching what happens there in Wayne County.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me.
I appreciate it. I want to go back to my panel here.
Okay. So that was on Roland Martin Unfiltered from that's from Thursday, November 19th, 2020. Thursday, November 19th, 2020. So check that out at Roland Martin on Facebook and Roland Martin on YouTube. All right. Okay. All right. Get these dumbass trolls on here. All right, let's continue. So I posted an article from rollingstone.com, and this deals with it's a movie that's going to be on Amazon Prime Video. It's directed by Regina King. Okay. Now, Regina King, we first saw her on 227. And also, and let's see, this article here from Detroit News, GOP canvassers try to rescind votes to certify Wayne County election. We're going to post that link here on the thread of the broadcast for you to check it out. Okay, this is from DetroitNews.com. All right, so we first saw Regina King on the TV show 227 as Brenda Jenkins, and we've seen her in movies like A Perfect Holiday and things like that. But Rolling Stone has an article, Cassius Clay, Malcolm X, Jim Brown, and Sam Cooke unite in Now, this is going to air in January on Amazon Prime. And directorial debut is based on true events and set to hit Amazon Prime Video in January. Okay, it's based on true events. Now, a lot of the dialogue is fictitious. Okay, but it's based upon, you know, also. Amazon Prime Video has shared a new trailer. Amazon Prime Video has shared a new trailer for Night in Miami. Okay, for One Night in Miami, Regina King's upcoming film about a historic Cassius Clay, who was soon to take the name Muhammad Ali. Just a second here. This is okay. Who was soon to take the name Muhammad Ali. And this is after Cassius Clay defeats Sonny Liston. So you have Cassius Clay, Malcolm X, Jim Brown, and Sam Cooke. Okay. All right. Now, the film will screen in select theaters on December 25th before arriving on Amazon Prime Video on January 15th. Now, One Night in Miami is the name of the film, and it's based on Kemp Powers' 2013 play, KEMP, Kemp Powers' 2013 play of the same name, and it's loosely inspired by real events. It's loosely inspired by real events. The story takes place right after Cassius Clay defeats Sonny Liston. Okay, and that was February 1964. That's February 1964. He defeats him to win the heavyweight championship. Now, following his victory, Cassius Clay, who would later take the name Muhammad Ali, celebrated in a Miami hotel room with Sam Cooke, Jim Brown, and Malcolm X, all of whom were at pivotal moments in their careers as well. Now, although the film offers a fictionalized account of that night, a press release states the story, quote, looks at the struggles these men faced and the vital role they each played in the civil rights movement and cultural upheaval of the 1960s. More than 40 years later, their conversations on racial injustice, religion, and personal responsibility still resonate, end quote. One Night in Miami marks Regina King's directorial debut. While Kemp wrote the screenplay, now it stars Eli Goree as Cassius Clay, Kingsley Ben Adir as Malcolm X, Leslie Odom Jr. as Sam Cooke, and Aldous Hodge as Jim Brown. Okay, so it looks pretty interesting. Now, I'm not a fan of a lot of fiction when it comes to like historical accounts. And well, first of all, I really don't like movies that are based upon history because it's Hollywood. It's not, there are a lot of creative liberties, and I prefer documentaries if we're going to deal with history. However, there are some movies that can cause people to want to learn more, do more research, etc., to open people's minds. The movie Malcolm X was one of them, directed by Spike Lee, 1992. The movie Malcolm X was one of them. But there were some problems with the movie Malcolm X. Okay, one, Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, was not depicted in the movie Malcolm X. Two, it was his siblings, like his brother Filbert, who introduced him to the Nation of Islam. It wasn't a prisoner who introduced him to the Nation of Islam, as depicted in the movie. Brother Baines' character in the movie Malcolm X was probably a composite character to represent some different historical figures that exhibited certain behaviors or actions that did certain things in Malcolm's life. John Bembry, there was a African-American prisoner, and this is freezing up here, stand by. There was an African-American prisoner named John Bembry who was the one who encouraged Malcolm to study, to take classes, things like this while he was in prison. This is before Malcolm is exposed to the Nation of Islam. It was an older African-American prisoner named John Bembry, Bembry, I think is how you spell his name, John Bembry. Okay, there was an article that came, there was one article from New York Daily News, I think it was, from a couple of years ago dealing with Malcolm X that talked about John Bembry. And then there was one written, I think earlier this year by one of his relatives. Okay. Yeah, so there's one from the Undefeated. There was one from the Undefeated, the untold story of the inmate who helped shape Malcolm X's future. The untold story of the inmate who helped shape Malcolm X's future. This is written by Jerry Bembry, who's a relative of John Bembry. So this was this is his nephew writing this article. John Elton Bembry. Let me see. To me, he was blood. My father's oldest brother, John. Yeah, John Elton Bembry was his name. Okay. To officials in the Massachusetts Department of Correction, he was prisoner 22138, a tall, slender, light mulatto whose personality was described by his prison caseworker as intelligent, studious, influential among other colored inmates. To society, he was a career criminal, a man with a lengthy arrest record that extended coast to coast. Some charges were legit, like breaking and entering, others loitering and vagrancy, likely the result of him simply being a black man in America. To Malcolm X, he was Bemby, Bimbi, Bemby, a man whose influence played a significant role in altering the life path of the famed Muslim minister and human rights activist. As Malcolm X wrote in his autobiography, Bemby was, quote, the first man I had ever seen command total respect with his words. The first man I had ever seen command total respect with his words. To me, he was blood. My father's oldest brother, John Elton Bembry, Uncle Elton. Okay, so read the rest of this article here. So Brother Baines in Malcolm X is probably a composite character of people like John Bembry. All right. But Muhammad Ali is not depicted in the film Malcolm X. So you have some problems with the movie, but it's a fantastic movie, and it caused a lot of us in 92 to want to learn more about Malcolm X and study Malcolm X. Okay. So, and then you have the movie, like the movie Rosewood. There's a lot of fiction in the movie Rosewood, like the character that Bing Rames plays named Man. Okay. Man is a fictitious character. He's probably a composite character of other real life figures and some actions that they actually did. But because I've studied the history of the Rosewood massacre, January 1923, man was fictitious. That's somebody that they made up for the movie. Okay, now it helped to make a better movie. That is true. But from a historical perspective, you know, when you have composite characters, people need to know this is a fictitious character. Like, so the character in the movie Harriet, the character that Janelle Monáe played, was a fictitious character. But once again, that's a composite character. So it's not a problem if you have a fictitious character. Usually when you make these movies, a lot of times you'll have a fictitious character, but what happens is the directors of the movies and the writers of the movie, they'll read a number of books and historical books and study historical figures that play a part in this movie. And then when they write the script and create a fictitious character, that character is an embodiment of a number of different actions that real life people actually did. Okay. So this is part of the writing process and creating these Hollywood movies. I prefer documentaries to get the actual history. And then we have to understand none of these historical movies are 100% accurate, because who wrote the script? Would you get the information from the script? Unless the whole movie is coming from the script of, say, like a jury trial, and the script is coming directly from the transcript of the trial, then all these movies have fiction. All these movies are largely made up, because where'd you get the script from? What they're doing is they're studying these various characters, studying this time period, what's taking place at this time. And then they're putting the words into the mouths of various characters that represent people back at this point in time and the views of people back at this point in time. So a lot, like when I heard people criticizing the movie Harriet and saying they have fictitious characters, things like this. Well, a lot of these movies have fictitious characters. Why aren't you talking about those too? That's not unusual. It's a Hollywood movie. That's not unusual to have fictitious characters in historical movies. That's how you make the movies. When the movie Panther, directed by Mario Van Peebles, he was interviewed on PBS by, what's his name? Charlie, on PBS. I played this clip before back then. I'm not going to play it now, but this was about 1997. And he was talking about the movie making process and how they made the movie Panther. Okay. And the main character in Panther, the movie is told through the eyes of a fictitious character played by Kadeem Hardison, who joins the Black Panther Party for self-defense. And he takes you through different historical scenes, but he's a fictitious character. Okay. So a lot of people don't understand this movie making process. What was that? That was Panther. It was on PBS. Charlie Rose. That's his name. Charlie Rose. This is from, was it 95? This is 95. 95. So look that up. It's on YouTube. Mario Van Peebles, Charlie Rose. This is from like 95, I think it is. But he explains, Mario Van Peebles explains the movie making process and how they use a fictitious character to take you through different historical scenes. Yeah, okay. From 1995, Mario Van Peebles interview on the Black Panthers, 1995. It's on YouTube. And he was interviewed by Charlie Rose on PBS. Mario Van Peebles interview on the Black Panthers, 1995. And he talks about the movie making process then. All right. Now there was, and then blackamericaweb.com also has an article dealing with One Night in Miami as well. Official trailer for Regina King's One Night in Miami released. We're going to post this link here to the article from blackamericaweb.com. blackamericaweb.com. Trump admires Harriet Tubman, probably because she's dead. Let's see here. Okay, so I want to see this movie when it comes out. When it comes out, we'll talk more about it as well. All right, so we'll give you an update on what's going on with Wayne County Board of Canvassers on Friday. What's going on with all this stuff? I'll be on Roland Martin Unfiltered as well Friday, so I have to do Roland Martin Unfiltered and do this show both on Friday. All right, African American business owners, email us at customerservice@africanhistorynetwork.com. Customer service at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. We created a video commercial for you. So when we rebroadcast these shows, you see some of the video commercials. Most of those I created. And then I put together a 30-second and 60-second commercial for you. You can email me a script. And also in the audio podcast formats of these shows, your commercial will play, your audio commercial will play there as well. Okay. All right. Now, a lot of people want to learn about the stock market. TheProfitRoom.com can help you with this. Now, TheProfitRoom.com is a stock market trading and education company that has mentorship programs that are designed for beginners. They teach individuals how to create generational wealth through trading and investing in the financial markets. They specialize in day trading and one-on-one mentorship, but they also teach about stocks, options, futures, and the foreign exchange markets, as well as capital preservation and risk management. Visit their website, theprofitroom.com, theprofitroom.com, and let them know that you found out about this from the African History Network. Okay. Now, a lot of people are looking for something sweet to eat. The holidays are coming up. And even though you may not travel for the holidays, you may want something sweet to eat. So the pinkbakery.com can help you with this. Now, the pinkbakery.com is the Pink Bakery is the first Black-owned Big 8 allergen-free baking mix company. Have you tasted the world-famous No Frowny Brownie yet? Okay, well, if you haven't, what are you waiting for? The No Frowny Brownie is vegan-free. It's vegan, gluten-free, and free of the Big 8 allergens. Visit the website, thepinkbakery.com, thepinkbakery.com, to order their No Frowny Brownie Mix today. Their No Frowny Brownie Mix. Let them know you found out about this from the African History Network. All right. Hey, if you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network. $, the AHN Show through Cash App. $, the AHN Show through Cash App. Then also through PayPal. PayPal.me/the AHN Show. PayPal.me/the AHN Show. And also at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. That helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air, keep broadcasting the show 6 nights a week, because we're here 6 nights a week now as of October 12th instead of 1 night a week. Okay. So that helps us helps us stay on the air. All right. Well, we'll be back Friday night. Okay. We're here 11 p.m. to 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, and Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time also. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's corrects wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you tomorrow.